Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to flush the coolant on the Honda S2000. This is one of my most requested videos so far, so I really hope you enjoy it. According to the owner's manual, the coolant should be replaced after either 120,000 miles or 10 years of use. My car already has 145,000 miles, but I don't have any maintenance records from the previous owner, so I'm just flushing mine to be safe. To begin this process, you'll need to set the heater temperature dial to the highest setting with the ignition set to the second on position. This will open a valve to ensure that the maximum amount of coolant will drain. If the coolant temperature is hot, you'll need to wait until the temperature is cold. To be very clear, never open the cooling system to the atmosphere when the coolant is hot and the system is under pressure. With that said, once the coolant temperature is cold, get the front of the car on jack stands. With the car on jack stands, you can prepare to drain the coolant. Remove the radiator cap and use a 12mm socket to loosen the front coolant bleeding valve. You'll only need to turn it a quarter of a turn. Doing this will allow the coolant to flow out easier. Next, grab a container that can hold at least 2 gallons of fluid and get underneath the car. Locate the coolant drain plug on the back side of the radiator and loosen it until coolant starts to drip. Let the coolant drain until the radiator is empty. This could take a couple of hours. Once the coolant has finished draining, tighten the coolant drain plug and move the container out of the way. You don't want to forget the coolant overflow tank. Unscrew the coolant overflow tank cap and slide the tank upwards to remove it. Once removed, dump the coolant inside. Then slide the coolant overflow tank back into place and screw the cap back on. Now you'll need to refill the coolant and bleed the system of any air. For this video, I'm going to show you how to do this in what I consider to be the easiest way, by using a spill-free funnel. Install the spill-free funnel by attaching the correct radiator cap adapter to your radiator. Once the adapter is installed, you can mount the funnel onto the adapter. With the spill-free funnel installed, you'll want to attach a clear hose onto the open front coolant bleeding valve. This will indicate when the radiator is full of coolant without making much of a mess. Now you want to slowly pour coolant into the funnel and thus the radiator. While pouring the second gallon of coolant, keep an eye on the clear hose you attach to the open front coolant bleed valve. Once you see coolant in the clear hose, you'll want to stop pouring coolant. Remove the clear hose and tighten the front coolant bleed valve with a 12mm socket. At this point, the radiator is full, but there will still be air in the rest of the cooling system, so you'll need to bleed the cooling system. Fill the funnel halfway with coolant and start the car. Ensure that the heater temperature dial is set to the highest setting and that the fan speed is set to the highest setting as well. You'll want to get the car hot enough that the radiator fans turn on. The quickest way to do that is to peg the car at 3,000 RPM. As the car warms up and the coolant begins flowing throughout the system, you'll notice air bubbles appearing in the coolant funnel as air is automatically bled or burped out of the system. You can be confident that all the air is removed from the system when the air vents are blowing scorching hot air at idle and the coolant in the funnel is calm. The air vents should be blowing air hot enough to burn your hand if held in front of them for 10 seconds. Additionally, the calm coolant level should indicate that the air bubbles have been completely burped out of the system. Once you've achieved these two things, shut off the car. Now you want to replace the radiator cap. In order to reduce the risk of burning yourself, you should wait until the coolant temperature is no longer scorching hot. Once the coolant has cooled off, install the plug into the spill-free funnel and remove the funnel from the radiator. Remove the funnel adapter from the radiator and reinstall the OEM radiator cap. Use the remaining coolant to refill the coolant overflow tank to the maximum level. At this point, you're almost done. Get the car off jack stands and lower it back down to the ground. As a final step, you'll want to take your car out for a test drive around the neighborhood. You don't want to go too far away from home in case the car starts to overheat for some reason. As the car reaches operating temperature, keep an eye on the coolant temperature indicator on the gauge cluster. For AP1s, you don't want to see anything greater than 3 bars, and for AP2s, you don't want to see anything greater than 8 bars. In the event that the car does begin to overheat, you're going to want to pull over safely and shut the car off until it cools down. If the test drive goes well, you should be good to go. And that's it. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, give this video a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. As always, leave a comment down below for a DIY you'd like to see in the future.